Hello everyone, my name is Sniping is Fun, and I welcome you all back to part 2 of this 50 extra newcomer ideas for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I actually intended for this to be all in one big video and talk about the characters a lot less than I have been talking about, but I went on way too long, about 15 characters of 50 in the first part, so I'm like, you know what, I should split this up into parts and just record each one separately, because it took about half hour and I only talked about 15 characters. Jesus. So I'm going to try to split this off into at least 3 parts, and hope you guys all enjoy it like that. But yes, as I mentioned in the last video, this is more of a simplistic take on my newcomer ideas. I didn't do a whole lot of research for the characters, or I didn't do any research at all, and I just go over characters quickly in succession of each other. There's no visual aid. I didn't print any pictures off, so on and so forth. With that out of the way, let's get started. I left off at number 16, so let's try to get through as many characters as possible for part 2. And 16 is going to go to Starfy from the legendary Starfy franchise. Why do I think he makes sense? Well, Starfy is a semi-iconic Nintendo franchise that's had multiple entries. We've only ever got one, though, outside of Japan, but he is iconic and fairly popular inside Japan. But the one I remember playing on the DS was a pretty fun platforming game. It has popularity. There's fans that want it, and he has cameos in other games, and he is an assist trophy in Smash Bros. Has appeared as assist trophy in Smash Bros. Before. I think in Brawl, and it may be in Smash 4. I'm not fully sure. I don't think he's in Ultimate though, but I think Brawl was like the sole one. So he has made appearances in Smash Bros. He's made cameos in other games. And his series has spanned, I think, like the Game Boy Advance, the DS, and whatnot. It hasn't showed up any recently, like on the Wii U or Switch or anything, or 3DS or whatnot. But as far as I know, unless they did in Japan, but the series has been around for quite some time. It's popular, especially in Japan, and he's made appearances in Smash Bros. I think he kind of has earned his spot and deserves it. Moveset, it's been years since I played Starfy, but it was mostly a platform game. It was very similar to like a Kirby. So I'd say special attacks, smash attacks, based it off of like whatever he does in the game. He does a lot of spinning attacks. He can grab items and stuff. So it's very Kirby-esque. And he's a starfish, so he can probably do like headbutts, and he dashes forward and he floats. He's a super floaty character. He can do spin attacks. I think focus on that, and then choose one of the special abilities for his final smash. Like I said, it's been like certain characters I did some research on, certain characters I didn't, and like it's been years since I played Starfy, so I'm sorry if I didn't really put too much information to him on this list. I think I put more research on him when I did the Smash Bros. 4 newcomer series, and I think I recall him being in that. But that's really, yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, he's a very platforming character. Just take his elements from his games and make one of his ultimate attacks the final smash. Maybe bring in his girlfriend, like the pink starfish. Maybe even she could be an alternate costume, like an elf to Olimar kind of thing. And as for percentage, given that the series hasn't really had too many games lately, and given that there's multitude of other Nintendo franchises I feel deserve it more so than Starfy, 20%, 25%. There you go. 17 is going to go to a Luigi's Mansion character. And I want to talk about this character because it's now a new character that represents the new game in Luigi's Mansion 3 coming to the Switch, and that's Gooigi. I think Gooigi would be a pretty interesting choice. Why does he make sense? Well, it represents the newest, so it's a marketing pick. It represents the newest Luigi's Mansion that's coming out pretty soon in a couple months. It's an easy way of getting a character in there without making someone totally new and totally original and unique. He already has gained some popularity. It's a big multiplayer feature in the game, and Smash Bros. Is a big multiplayer beat-em-up fighting type game, arena kind of stuff. I think it would fit. And people would probably rather have someone like EGAD or something, but I think Luigi might make it a little bit more of an interesting choice in the long run. And it's a marketing choice and stuff like that. So I really think if they expand the character a bit and keep him around in future Luigi's Mansion games, or maybe make him playable in like a Mario, sports game or Mario Kart or something, which I see them doing because they always do that. They always introduce characters and then bring them into all the Mario spin-offs, which in of itself, Luigi's Mansion is a Mario spin-off. I think it'd be kind of cool to see him in there. Moveset, I'd say take the moveset from Luigi, so make him a semi-Echo, but maybe make him focus more heavily on the Poltergeist and have him using that, like attacking people with it, sucking them in, blowing them away, smacking them, and shooting. And like basically, they kind of, the Poltergeist is able to do like attacks and abilities and stuff that Luigi's in all three, I'm sure in the third one as well, Luigi's Mansion games. Focus more on the Poltergeist, but give him some of the abilities of like Luigi, like the uppercut punch and stuff like that. Maybe not the fireball though. And then make him like Luigi has the ability to, split himself into two and be all like he's made a good like. Maybe make him more of an agile Luigi, like a more slippery, agile Luigi that's maybe a quicker, speed kind of thing, and make him weak against water. Make that his special weakness, where you can't be anywhere near water. Water generally weakens characters, and they can drown in it in these games. But the second you touch water with Luigi, you should start receiving damage, which is the way I think they gave it to the Inklings too. So it's kind of game centric and represents the game series. So I think it'd be kind of cool. Percentage, I could see him getting in. 35% maybe. Number 18 is going to go to a Sega character, and it's a character I wanted, a series I think does deserve to get in. I've done numerous Sega characters in this series, and it's the Puyo Puyo series, and it's a dual character. It's Arle and Amitai. Like I said, I've only ever played Puyo Puyo Tetris. I've never played the older Puyo Puyo games, except for when they did, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and I quite enjoy it, but I mostly bought Puyo Puyo Tetris for Tetris. But yeah, the characters are really like these cutesy anime-esque chibi style characters, and Arle and Amitai, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing their names right, are the two main female characters, so I'm thinking it's going to be an Elf Almar. I was originally going to have these characters separate, but I think they both pretty much fit the same build and demographic and can both represent the series being a 2-for-1 character. Why does it make sense? Puyo Puyo is a fairly popular series for Sega. It's not more so in Japan than it is in America, and it is a long-running series. The series has actually been going on quite some time, and the characters are popular, and I do think like Sega would want to represent that, given that the series now is huge, like on the Switch and whatnot. And as for the characters themselves, they're like the main characters of the series. So I think if they're going to represent Puyo Puyo, you'd want to represent the main characters, and they're pretty popular anyways, and you represent both by doing 2-for-1, which they fit the same build, and they could both fit under the same moveset. Moveset would have to be based off the Puyo Puyo blocks. The game's very comedic, so I'd say it should be they should be a very comedy-based character, maybe doing like little joke, gag type stuff, and like fighting like, and like doing like stuff like that, being all like cutesy and beat 'em up kind of style stuff, and throwing Puyo Puyo blocks, pulling Puyo Puyo blocks down. Maybe, like I said, make their very a comedy gag type moveset that uses Puyo Puyo blocks. I think that would be a very interesting style character, and I think the final smash should be like the Puyo Puyo is coming down, so like a Tetris style thing, and the opponents are like, "No, don't squish me down!" And they get squished by Puyo Puyo blocks, and the Puyo Puyos just blow up, and they get sent flying off the stage, or something like that. To that effect would be kind of cool. Percentage chance I could see them getting in. I'd say they make a little bit more sense than say maybe they even though Shinobi, which I mentioned in part 1, is a more iconic character, I think they stand out more as more of an original character. Because if we get a ninja character ever in Smash Bros., we already have Sheik technically. It's going to be Ryu Hayabusa. So I think they might want to go for more current popularity, because Shinobi's not really all that current popular, but Puyo Puyo is still pretty damn huge, and I think they makes more sense than Shinobi. But I think for more interesting, iconic characters in the long run, both relevant now and in the past, it's going to be Streets of Rage or Sakura Wars, in my opinion, if we ever get another Sega character that's not Sonic based. 19 will go to a No More Heroes character. And in my main series, 150 characters, I talked about Travis Touchdown, which obviously would be the key choice. If we ever got a No More Heroes character in Smash Brothers, it's going to be Travis Touchdown. I want to talk about his brother, Henry Cooldown, though. I think what moveset I gave to Travis outside the wrestling moves, take the wrestling moves away, I think he'd be kind of cool. He's more like a fencing style. Like, it seems like he's more an elegant sword player type of thing for the most part. But why he deserves to make sense, he's pretty damn popular. And I think it's more like he deserves to get in after Travis. He should be like an Echo maybe, or a modified Echo kind of thing. And he's important to the game series. He was in the first 2 games. I think they might have referenced him in Travis Strikes Again, and I'm fairly certain when No More Heroes 3 comes out, and we're getting a new No More Heroes game, so it's a big marketing choice no matter who they pick, even though it's going to be Travis, obviously. A big marketing choice. So he's probably going to be in that game too, I'm sure. I'm sure he might be a playable character again too. But I think moveset-wise, he's going to be I'd say more of an elegant style of Travis. He's more of a sword fencing type guy, and he's more dashing, and he should be more of a catch character. His little special ability and strategy should be he should be able to wait for opponents to attack and he can counter them and attack. He's more of a counter-based character, more of a catch character, more play style, defensive style. While Travis is more of aggressive with wrestling, aggressive sword fighting with wrestling. He should be more passive aggressive, very calm fighting with counters. And quirks, he should be able to taunt opponents to bring him on, and then maybe that boosts his stats. So if you can taunt people appropriately and enough times, they come in for the attack, you can counter, do more damage. Because he has a mouth on him too, not as much as Travis, but I think it'd be kind of cool to do that. And his final smash should be maybe his epic his one-hit kill from the final fight in No More Heroes 1. That should be his final smash. And then percentage chance, obviously it's not as high as Travis, and I forgot what I gave Travis, but I gave him, I think, a fairly high one, 50-60%, so probably about 25% for Henry, and that's even kind of pushing it a bit. 20. We'll go to one more No More Heroes character I want to talk about just because she's so freaking major in the series too, and she's been in every single game since then, and that's Shinobu Jacobs. She's more of the katana samurai style character, so take what why does she make sense? She's been in every single game since then. She'd at least be diverse enough from Travis to the point where you could have two characters, and she'd be more different than Henry probably would be. And it's a marketing choice. She's been in every single game. She was just in the DLC for Travis Strikes Again, and I'm sure she, just like I said with Henry, is going to be in No More Heroes 3. So, given that she was in the last 3 games. So I'd say that's the reason why enough to make it for her. If there's a secondary character, I'd say I'd probably pick her over Henry, over Travis for a No More Heroes character. Moveset wise, she'll just be a samurai ninja character. Take what I said about Henry, and basically Travis is more of the aggressive style, powerhouse sword character with wrestling moves. Henry's more of the calm, quirky, egging characters on to come and fight him, kind of thing, and you can make that stat boost. She will be more of the stealth based. She could probably be a lot more quick. She'll be like Sheik with a sword, and then you could probably use her arm thing. She has a little gun thing since she got her arm cut off by Travis in the first game. You can make that a special ability because I know she could fight with that. I think it's a little gun or something. Interesting moves that make her more of a quick, stealthy character. Maybe make her have stealth attacks too, where if you walk up on opponents from behind, you can do a stealth attack that does more damage. That'd be kind of interesting. And her, I'd say same thing with Henry. Her final smash should be her one-hit kill attack she does in No More Heroes 1. Stupid boss fight that took me forever to beat. But yeah, percentage chance, I'd say maybe a little bit more than Henry. I'd say about 25-30%. And that's really pushing it too, because I'd say it's more like him is 10 and her about 15-20. Okay. 21. It's going to go to a classic Nintendo character that has been referenced in Smash Bros. Before. She's gotten this a trophy before. She's gotten a Mii costume. She's been referenced with an item, and that's Lip from the Puzzle League series. A lot of people want her in. She's very popular. It's another retro choice character from Nintendo that a lot of people and their mothers have been requesting for years, and I've seen them requesting her since probably the days of Brawl, at least. She's probably one of the classic retro characters from Nintendo that's gotten that much of a push. Yeah, I could see her getting in. She doesn't even need to be relevant. The Puzzle series isn't even technically around anymore, and they had Yoshi's Attack or something, Yoshi's whatever. And it's it was around majorly back then, and it still kind of gets some sort of releases nowadays, especially I think Virtual Console stuff. And she's requested. Her more prominent reason why I think she should ever get in is popularity and demand and request. Although I do think there's other retro characters that get that a lot more. Her moveset, she wields the flower, and she does. I'm sure she'll just take the flower from the actual game and make a moveset around that more interesting, more detailed thing of that. And she uses puzzle pieces. So it's basically what I mentioned with Arle and Amitai from Puyo Puyo. They would probably do comedic stuff, throw Puyo Puyos and do stuff like that. She's gonna throw the blocks from puzzle things. She'll be able to drop opponents on there, maybe control stuff, and make something based off that. It'd be kind of interesting. I don't know what the final smash would be. It'd probably just be the puzzle blocks all encapsulating the opponent, and they get stuck and like no. There you go. Percentage chance 35 maybe. Like, there's other retro characters I'd pick, and I said Urban Champion in part 1. She makes more sense than Urban Champion. She'd be more interesting than Urban Champion. But I can name a multitude of other retro characters that would be more interesting and make more sense, and one of them were on my list, like the Excite Biker. So there you go. 22 is going to go to Amaterasu from the Okami series. Another Capcom character in my long-running series. Okami started on the PS2. It did get a Wii port, and then Okami then was on the DS. Amaterasu has appearances in the Marvel vs. Capcom series. She is pretty popular. The series is pretty well liked, and people have been wanting a legit Okami 2 for years. So demand to see her in more games. Demand for a new Okami, which may eventually happen one day. And the Okami then being on the DS, the original Okami being ported to the Wii, so on and so forth. I think there's a reason enough to put her in there, and it's a series that's beloved from Capcom. And the moveset, I'd say focus on the paintbrushing stuff and focus on, like, it's obviously a four-legged wolf goddess type thing, jumping around, attacking opponents and stuff. That's kind of interesting and unique. She could do growling and biting, tail wag type stuff, and claw slash, and then the paintbrush, and she paints stuff that, like, demon, like you can paint the kanji to attack the opponents and so on and so forth. And her final smash could be actually pulling out the pad, and you paintbrushes a thing, and this ultimate attack just encapsulates the stage and probably blows everyone off it or something like that. Percentage chance for Amaterasu, given other Capcom characters I'm comparing her to, maybe about 35 to 45%, and that's kind of pushing it a bit too. I think she's in the realm of like an Arthur. I mentioned Arthur in the first one too, from Ghosts and Goblins. They are iconic, popular, demanded for characters. But if there's ever another Capcom character, it's likely going to be either A, Resident Evil, B, Devil May Cry, C, Ace Attorney, or D, what was the other one? Monster Hunter. That's probably likely the choices they're going to be. If we ever get someone post Street Fighter and Mega Man. Number 23 is going to go to Mello from the Pushmo series, which is another game I have not played at all, and I did a little bit of research on. I would say why he deserves it. It is a popular indie game. I think it has a couple different games. There's Pushmo, and there's another one. There's one or two more of them, so it is more of an indie series now than just one indie game, which is more to say for this series than for a lot of indie games that have not made it past their first game yet. And it is fairly popular, and it was super heavily pushed on the 3DS. And I think there might be something of it on the Switch, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not fully sure, but I know for a fact that it was all on 3DS, and Nintendo heavily advertises it back in the day. I remember seeing that game majorly pushed. But yeah, I think it's about an interesting indie character to add. And the moveset, it's a puzzle game. It's like a puzzle piece where you pull blocks and you make like designs, and you have to pull blocks to get through the stage and whatnot. So I think you could easily make a moveset that's not super like a character that's trying to attack opponents, but more so like they're pulling and pushing blocks. They summon blocks, and you can push it at opponents. You can pull opponents back on the blocks. You can summon blocks and smack them with it. And it's basically summoning puzzle pieces, and you can create platforms to move around the stage on, and then maybe have those things fall on the opponents and stuff like that. That'd be kind of interesting. And then the final smash would obviously be creating a full-fledged thing like an 8-bit Link or some sort of different design that are from the games, and then having them come together and maybe attack the opponents or explode, attack the opponents, and the opponents get maybe caught into the puzzle pieces, like, no, don't squish it, and automatic KO, stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Percentage chance 10 to 15 at best, because other indie characters I think make a little bit more sense, namely all the ones I mentioned on my main series, like Shovel Knight, Shantae, and Gunvolt, and what's his name from Cave Story, stuff like that. I think they make a little more sense. Even Sans from Undertale makes a little more sense, as much as Mello would be kind of interesting. 24 is going to go to Kasumi from the Dead or Alive series. Tecmo Koei has become pretty much a big supporter of Nintendo. They're all like some of the Warrior games, the game like the Warrior like games have been on the systems lately. They've been collaborating with like Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, and whatnot, and they've made games on like the DS and I think the Wii U and whatnot, like Ninja Gaiden 3 and so on and so forth. And Dead or Alive Dimensions on the 3DS and whatnot. They are a big supporter of Nintendo. They're fairly popular, and Dead or Alive is one of the more popular fighting game series. I know it's not Mortal Kombat popular, Street Fighter popular, Tekken popular, but Dead or Alive is a really freaking popular series. It has multiple appearances, either referenced on Nintendo or Nintendo systems, like Project Cross Zone. I think kind of had some. Oh wait, no, was it Project Cross Zone? That's not them. There was another game and I forgot. It had them cameo in it. There was I know there's had some cameos on Nintendo before, and they had multiple games on Nintendo before. Koei Tecmo stuff like Dead or Alive. I think that should be why. And Kasumi is like the most popular main character from the Dead or Alive franchise. So if we don't get Ryu Hayabusa representing both Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, if we want to go solely for a Dead or Alive character, I think Kasumi is the choice to pick. And she is kind of rumored at this point too. And her moveset, she's a very martial arts based character. Mugen Tenshin Ninjutsu, so that would be your moveset. Take her combos from the game. I mentioned this with every single fighting game character I mentioned on this list, like Jin, Kazama, and Johnny Cage, and like Kazuya Mishima, and Heihachi, and Terry Bogard, and Rock Howard. Just give them their moveset from the fighting, like from their actual fighting game, like they do with Ryu from Street Fighter. It's pretty much his moveset, and button combinations and whatnot. But she uses Mugen Tenshin Ninjutsu. She's heavily emphasis on kicks and combos. She does like elbow strikes and punches too, but she's very heavy on kicks. I think it'd be kind of interesting to take one of her like ultimate combo attacks from that game and make that her final smash. It's been a while since I played Dead or Alive, so I don't really know her ultimate attacks. Also, given that I'm not a big Kasumi user, I play more like Ryu, Hayabusa, and stuff like that. And when it comes to Dead or Alive, so yeah, make that her thing. And as for percentage, given the support for them on Nintendo, I'm going to say about 40%, maybe 50% at most. So put her in the category, like I mentioned in the last video, with the likes of Tails and Tetra in my first video, like one of the higher characters on these 50 characters so far, I think can get in. We are at the halfway point, 25, which I think is where I'll probably end part 2. Actually, no, I'll probably go a little further. And I wanted to talk about this character because they brought their third game to the Switch, and it has been a series that's been around in gaming for a long time. So I'd say include this character more so for their history in the gaming world than their history on Nintendo, which I don't know if they had an appearance on Nintendo before. And that's Diablo, specifically Diablo. Diablo 3 was on the Switch. It's been selling really well, and it's a beloved game entry for them on it. And the creators have been supporting Nintendo a lot. And this game is Diablo's been around since like the PC days. I think since like the late 90s, early 2000s. It's a beloved, iconic, old school PC game, and it has various console ports, of which Diablo 3 on the Switch is very successful and very popular. And I speak specifically Diablo because it's the main antagonist. He's like the devil. He's this giant demonic character, and the series is named after him. So I'd say instead of picking specific characters, you could probably pick a more specific character in Diablo, but I want to pick Diablo specifically because it's like the main villain. Moveset ideas. Just imagine a giant demon doing demonic powers like fire attacks, demonic things like having horns and attacking with horns, summoning minions. That would be very interesting. More powerhouse character, a little bit slower than probably Ganondorf, a little bit bigger than probably Ganondorf 2. Make him a little bit taller than Ridley. Make him one of the bigger characters of the game. He's a slow powerhouse character that can summon minions, do demonic hellfire attacks, and bash you with horns and whatnot. And there you go. Percentage chance, 15 to 25. And that's kind of pushing it too. But if the series gets any more popular on Nintendo, and whenever we do eventually see a Diablo 4, maybe not Smash Ultimate, but maybe a future Smash Bros. Game like Smash 6, 7, 8, maybe we can see Diablo-esque character getting in by then. Who knows? Okay, I'm going to talk about these next two characters together. 26 and 27. because they're both from the same game, and I kind of wanted to, and it's easier to talk about both because we don't know enough information about them yet because the game isn't out yet. And it's Elfin and Shione. I hope I pronounced those names right. From Tales of Arise, the new Tales game coming out next year in 2020. Why do they make sense again? It's the Tales series. First and foremost, the Tales series is probably one of the most popular RPG series not named Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Kingdom Hearts. It's a fairly well-beloved series. It's been around since the Super Famicom. Has multiple games on Nintendo. Tales of Arise may come to Nintendo one day. Right now, it's only Xbox One and PS4. It may come to Switch. We don't know. But the series has enough history on Nintendo. Even though I think they might more so want to go for a Yuri Lowell, or a Lloyd Irving, or a Cress Elbane. One of these characters might make more sense for a marketing perspective. Even if Switch doesn't get the game, it might be for a marketing perspective, which Smash has a heavy amount of. Elf, and that's about it really for those. Elfin, and moveset wise, I'd say Elfin. As far as I got from the trailer, he has two swords. He has like a lightning based sword and a fire based sword. It's like two different swords. So it's kind of like a moveset they could probably get from like Lloyd, because Lloyd uses two swords, and one's like a fire, one's like a watery ice. But he's like a lightning blade and a fire blade, and make him super combo heavy, a super quick character that does a lot of combos with two different swords, and you can pull out one sword at a time or attack with both at the same time. And whatever ultimate attack, ultimate art he gets in the game, make that his final smash. And Shione, or Shion, I don't know if they pronounce it, she has like this energy rifle laser gun type thing. Make her a ranged character. She can get up close and like punch and kick and smack you with the gun, but she gets far away and you're freaking shot. Like, it's this energy rifle gun, and whatever her ultimate art is, make that her final smash. Or for either of them, make it a double team between them, and the art is like a double team up art of the whole party, or whoever else is a party in the game when they show more characters. But if anything, it's just Elfin with Shion with Elfin. Maybe make them a team character too. I was always thinking about that, like a dual, like a ice climbers, but you switch in and out like the Pokemon trainer. That'd be kind of cool. Percentage chance for both of them, 30%. I want to say 30% for no other reason than they're going to be advertised if they put in, and it's the newest game coming out, unless they go for an older Tales character like Yuri or Lloyd or Cress or Luke or anyone else for that matter. 28 is going to go to a classic arcade legend that's had numerous games over the years, some good, some bad, and that's going to go to Frogger. Frogger's been around since the 80s. It's a classic Konami character that's, if you've played the arcade, get run over by the thing, Frogger's just iconic. I think that's like, we got classic arcade characters like Pac-Man in there too, who has a large affiliation with Nintendo. Frogger kind of does too. Like multiple collections have had Frogger on it. They've done platforming games since then. I mean, it didn't get stuff from the PlayStation 1 era. There was games that it got revived on the PlayStation 1 era, but then like PS2, GameCube and stuff. And I think since then they've probably done one more. He has a modern day stuff. I would say maybe base it more off the classic one, which is kind of generic because it's just a frog, but take some adventure elements from like the newer ones. And it's just iconic character, and I think if we're going to go for old classic characters that really kind of make sense and deserve it, I think he would deserve it. Moveset, frog tongue, hopping around, jumping on opponents, ribbit, maybe like doing like the special abilities like you can get from like the newer games, like the platforming games, summoning like platforms or something, or doing some sort of like shooting stuff out of the mouth like a tongue, or grabbing opponents with tongue and throwing them across the stage and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool. And the final smash obviously has to be a throwback to the classic Breaking Crow, Frogger game, in the middle of the highway, and the opponents are like, "Oh!" It's a cutscene. You catch them, and they get ran over by traffic. Yes. Percentage chance. Classic arcade characters go. There's probably much better choices. As much as I do like Frogger, 20% at most, but maybe about 10 at around 10. 29 is going to go to Gex. I know that series hasn't had a game since like PS. What did they have anything on PS2 and GameCube? Whatnot? I think it was PS1. It was like the Saturn, the PS1, the N64 era. But it's a series that I think has been talked about that people want to see come back. It could come back at any time. We've seen multiple franchises come back from freaking taking forever away, being gone forever. So the chances the series can always come back. It's a beloved series back then that has history on Nintendo. and it could be a unique character to add to the series. Moveset ideas based off the television stuff. He can use television remotes. He could turn into like the heroes from the TV, different like represent, because he's watching like different worlds are based off like different genres of TV and whatnot. He could jump through a TV screen. That could be how his entrance animation is. He could stick out his gecko tongue. He can crawl up the walls, whack with his tail. I think you get an interesting moveset with it. The final smash could probably be something with TV where maybe you throw the opponents through the TV and they get caught up in the world being attacked by enemies or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. Percentage. This would definitely be like 5 to 10 at best. Like, this series is dead. And even Frogger, though Frogger's dead, Frogger at least has iconic arcade roots. Gex only has like this 5th generation of systems really to go off of. 4th too, technically. Saturn. No, that was 5th. Saturn and PlayStation 1 and 64. Yeah, it's kind of dead unless it comes back. Yeah. Number 30 is going to go to yet another Sega character. I'm talking about a lot of Sega characters in this series, and that's II from the Monkey Ball franchise, Super Monkey Ball franchise. Why? Well, Monkey Ball's finally making a return on the Switch, even though it's a port of a Wii game. It's like an HD remastered Wii game. But the series has such affiliations with Nintendo dating back to the GameCube. The first 2 games on the GameCube, there was 2 games like on the Wii. I think there was a DS game at some point. It was just a popular Sega franchise back then. And even though it's not the Sega franchise to add next, I think it's a Sega franchise that stands the test of time, and it is back. And with this new game, with this remastered one, we'll probably eventually on the Switch and whatnot see a new legit Super Monkey Ball game. Yeah, I'm going to go with possibly throw in that. Moveset, have it be the ball. For the moveset, have them in the monkey ball and then rolling around, smacking opponents, like using the bounce ball, like boing, 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 up, and you just roll around. You get speed and run into opponents, run them over and whatnot. It'd be kind of cool. Generic, but cool. And then like how like the flying mini game, it comes out like wings maybe. That could be like the hover. That could be like the save, or you're about to fall off the stage. And they could do that to maybe attack opponents with the ball as well. And then maybe like monkey wag tail throw banana type stuff. That'd be kind of cool. And then the ultimate like banana ring moving stage kind of thing could be the final smash. And yeah, that's it for II percentage. Right now it is super low. It's 10% probably at best, until we see a legit return of Monkey Ball. Sega franchise, like I stated in this part, in part 1, it's likely Valkyria Chronicles, Sakura Wars, Streets of Rage, another Sonic character, so on and so forth. Even Shinobi stands more of a chance. Crazy Taxi stands more of a chance. What's in there? Hatsune Miku stands way more of a chance. You know, a lot of Sega franchises before I even remotely picked Super Monkey Ball for Smash Brothers. And that's it for number 30. And that's it for part 2. And I will see you all back again when I hopefully can talk about the remaining 20 in one video. Sleep is fun. Signing out.